All right, so today we're gonna go on a deep dive, and it's a pretty fascinating idea, I think, and that is finding happiness within.
Oh, okay.
And you're not gonna believe this, but our guide on this little journey we're about to go on is a children's story
Oh, wow.
about La Befana,
Interesting.
the Italian folklore figure who brings gifts to children.
Okay, yeah.
And what I think is so interesting about this story is that it presents a Befana who's surprisingly sad,
Mm-hmm.
even though she's known for bringing, joy to all these other people.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess counterintuitive in a way, right? You would think that somebody who's so giving and bringing joy to others would themselves also be very happy.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this story and see what hidden wisdom we can uncover about, nurturing our own happiness.
Absolutely.
So before we start, for those who may not be familiar with La Befana, she is a beloved figure in Italian folklore, often depicted as a kind witch who flies around on her broomstick delivering presents on the eve of Epiphany.
Yeah.
But in this story, as we were saying, something is clearly troubling her. She has this deep emptiness despite all of her acts of giving.
Hmm.
What are your initial thoughts on this kind of unusual portrayal of her?
Well, I think it's it's a clever way to highlight a common misconception that we have, that happiness comes solely from giving to others.
Yeah.
And I think that Befana's sadness is a really good jumping off point for us to consider.
Yeah.
That neglecting our own need
Right.
can lead to inner turmoil.
Even while we're giving.
Exactly.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And this kind of sets the stage for a pivotal moment in the story when she encounters the wise Favole,
Right.
this little magical creature.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees her sadness, and he offers her some interesting advice.
Yeah.
He says that true happiness is found not just in giving, but also in receiving.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
Well, I think this advice, it really touches upon the essence of self-care.
Yeah.
A concept that I feel like we talk about a lot, but rarely fully understand.
Right.
So many people think that self-care is selfish.
Right.
But what the Folletto is trying to tell Befana is that, in order to replenish our capacity for giving
Right.
to others, we need to give to ourselves as well.
It's kind of like filling up your own cup so that you can pour from a full cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the story really illustrates this idea of self-care through Befana's transformation after this encounter.
Right.
She starts tending a garden,
Mm-hmm.
immersing herself in books,
Yeah.
taking these long, quiet walks in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And these might seem like mundane activities.
Yeah.
But they really represent a shift in her focus from solely giving to others to actually nurturing herself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the story is trying to tell us through these specific activities?
Well, I think it highlights the importance of finding activities that resonate with our individual needs and preferences.
Yeah.
For example, gardening
Mhm.
could symbolize connecting with nature and nurturing growth.
Right.
Both literally with the plants,
Yeah.
but also metaphorically in our own lives.
Yeah.
And reading can offer us a way to, stimulate our minds.
Yeah.
Maybe even escape for a little bit.
Dave. Yeah.
And then walking in nature,
Yeah.
that offers peace,
Yeah.
mindfulness,
Yeah.
really just a way to disconnect and be present.
Right.
So I think the takeaway here
Mhm.
is that self-care isn't some one-size-fits-all formula.
Right.
It's about finding what truly replenishes our own individual spirits.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to note that it's not about checking things off a list.
Right.
It's about finding those activities that bring you genuine joy.
Exactly.
And speaking of joy, here's where I think the story gets really inspiring, because Befana doesn't stop delivering gifts.
Right.
She continues spreading joy to the children.
Yeah.
But there's this noticeable difference now
Yeah.
in her demeanor.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think, it really emphasizes that self-care isn't about, stopping our acts of service,
Yeah.
To others. It's about finding a balance
Yeah.
that allows us to give from a place of fullness, not depletion.
I love that.
So by nurturing her own well-being,
Yeah.
Befana is now able to experience genuine joy in giving rather than just, feeling drained or empty.
Right. And I think it's such a powerful reminder that true happiness comes from both giving and receiving love.
Mm-hmm.
And it all starts, with loving ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's just so amazing that, this idea is illustrated so beautifully in a simple children's tale.
Well, that's the magic of stories, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have this ability to convey these really profound truths in a way that resonates with us on a much deeper level than, maybe just hearing it outright.
Right.
And the story of La Befana, it reminds us that happiness isn't this destination.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing journey of nurturing ourselves as well as others.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Okay.
What is one small act of self-care that you can incorporate into your day-to-day?
Yeah.
Could it be, just spending a few minutes out in nature, reading a chapter of a book?
Yeah.
Maybe just taking a few deep breaths. Remember, even the smallest acts of self-love can have this ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Allowing you to experience more joy, both in giving and in receiving.
It all starts with you.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure being here.
And until next time, take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.